Hello. Okay, so for my lesson, I did, our kids are learning Dante's Inferno right now, so I wanted to do something that was cross curriculum, and also would show what they've learned about poetry up to this point. So this is Dante's Inferno and science, which you're already asking, like, ooh, I wonder what that's all going to be about. So basically, the idea was that here's the lesson plan, that the students would be able to show me that they can analyze a poetic structure and elements, and most particularly that they were familiar with the works of non-English speaking authors. So Dante Alighieri is an Italian author from the 1300s, and that they're making connections across multiple curriculums. So we're making a math and science connection to the literature. So the basic breakdown of the lesson for the day was that they would be doing a pre-assessment survey to see what they knew, and it was 7 questions that asked questions about Dante, poetry, what is an epic poem, and then I asked some more guided questions in the arena of can fact predict reality? I'm sorry, can fiction predict fact? And then I asked them, do you think that mathematicians and scientists could potentially use poetry to influence scientific progression? So that was what I was asking them. So they have pre-assessment and post-assessment survey, and then they also were to watch this video that had some embedded questions located inside of it. So basically what I was going to have them do is they look at, and I'll show you in the next slide. So these were the 2 surveys. I set these surveys up through It's Learning. So they were just a basic survey in It's Learning. And the great thing about using It's Learning surveys is this summary that comes up in Excel sheets. So you can see data right next to one another. So you can see some of my questions. I asked them can fiction drive or influence fact-based discoveries in math and science? When we started this, 78% of them said yes, while 20 to 22% of them said no. And then I asked more specific questions about what we're currently learning. And so things like, and Dante's Inferno is made up of blank cantos and describes blank levels of hell. And then also, what style of poetry are we looking at and what is a canto? And so you can see here that only 66% of the students got it correct on the first go around. And then over here, kind of behind my face, you can kind of see that 95% of my students got this question right by the time we were finished. So that was a great improvement. Also, for this one, only 74% of them got it right the first time. And then we had 78%. So I still had some confusion with that question. And so you can see that it really lays out for you nicely how students do the pre-assessment and how they do post-assessment. So I like using surveys in It's Learning. Here's the process for the actual lesson. So I used Playposit, and what it does is it takes videos and it allows you to add questions to them. And I'm pretty sure all of you are used to a whole bunch of different kinds. But Playposit is very user-friendly and you can make videos really, really fast. This was something that Jeff Leewag showed us. And so, thank you, Jeff. So I was asking questions in this video, and they allow you to do several different types of questions. You can do multiple choice, you can do free response, and you can also do these just kind of like think and reflect, where you just get some information. So here we were talking about Galileo and how Galileo was influenced by Dante's Inferno, and through his attempt to prove mathematically that the levels of hell and the size of Lucifer would not have had correct mathematical proportions according to earlier scholars, he came up with the scaling laws that are now used in modern physics. So what I see in the classroom, I've got students working on several on their own computers. They've got their earbuds in, they're watching the video, they're responding to the questions. I've got 2 girls over here. I like this picture because they're sharing their earbuds because, as you know, even though you tell them all the time to bring their supplies, they always forget. But you can see them, they're conversing, they're talking about it, they're typing, a lot of different things happening. Here's a closer look at the video with the questions to the side. And so it asks them, this one you can see that she's looking at a multiple choice style question, and it immediately gives them feedback on whether or not they got those questions correct. So I really like that. Here's what I see on my end. So this is the question breakdown. So it'll show me the question, it'll show me the point breakdown. And what I really thought was cool is that as students get things right, it shows me the highest, like the best of the 3s and the best of the 2s for the short answer questions. So that I thought that was really nice, and it's a really pretty layout. And then here again, so you had multiple choice style questions, and then these are the short answer, and this is what I see when I grade it. So it pulls up their answer, and I give them a 0 to 3 scale. This works really well for English language arts because of our short answer response questions are already set up in this similar format. And then it gives them the percentage over here. So it's a really nice, easy way to grade, and you see the students' names on that side. So I really, really like this layout. It's easy to grade and super easy to monitor while they're working because it happens in real time, and I get results as they are typing and working in class. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. I had a really fun time working with Playposit and its learning surveys to check my students' formative assessment on poetry. And I think the lesson overall went really, really well. And not much was different as far as what I expected out of the students. So that's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.